Another late night walk. Get some time for people to come in. But until then, we just gonna walk. What up? What up? What up? Shout out to whoever just popped in. If you can, like the stream, introduce yourself. Let's see if I can see who it is. Nope, won't show me. But shout out to whoever just popped up. Day two, and I just went for a little run. Shout out to everybody that's popping up in the room. 2026 started, and started off the year with basically every day 20-minute workout that I logged with a 20-minute live stream. Shout out to whoever's popping up. I don't see no comments. Y'all need to like the stream, drop a comment. What's up, y'all? Can you all hear me? Can anybody hear me? Got me thinking I'm doing something wrong. So if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. Raven Hunt, yes, I remember you. Absolutely. Raven. You see how I do that? But yeah, it's another night, another casual stroll. My day was cool. It was pretty relaxing. I made a little extra money. Uh, that's really all I did. Made a little extra money. And tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'm gonna go work out. And then I'm gonna go watch these Ravens play these doggone Steelers. And we gotta get in the playoffs, you feel me? Shout out to everybody who just popped up in the room. If you can, like the stream, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Abbott Land, how we doing? How we doing, miss? I'm looking at your thumbnail. How we doing? But yeah, tomorrow is gonna be a good day. We watch the Ravens play, you know. I gotta go to a birthday party tomorrow. Should be a pretty cool day. How's everybody else's day going? Appreciate it. Yeah. And, you know, obviously I rep my team, but this a warm beanie. Like, I got a bald head, so like, you know, I be needing that, like that neck coverage. And it's definitely giving me that neck coverage I be needing. So what are y'all goals? I should put that. Can I put that as a status? Ooh, nope. That's not what I meant to do. Nope. I'll figure that out later. But what are y'all biggest plans for 2026? Like, is this your year? Is this the year that it all comes together for you? Or are you already, you know, good and you just coasting? It smells like marijuana around here. To break a 5 minute in a mile, 5 minute. So you're trying to run a 5 minute mile and win state track. You must be in high school, which is dope. 5 minute mile is elite. 5 minute mile is elite. So, you know, you got a lot of running to do. You got a lot of running to do. Track is like one of the hardest sports to train for too, because it's just literally, I mean, it's all endurance. It's all endurance. All endurance. Now, I've never trained for track, but I have trained for boxing. And boxing is a lot of endurance work as well because, I mean, if you ever, you know, spar or you do any light boxing, like, you never realize how much energy you expend when you're throwing punches nonstop. So, you know, I guess in your case, it's developing that thing in your brain where, like, even though you're tired, you still go at full speed. And once you kind of have that, because you know, or not even once you're tired, you still go at full speed. Even once you're tired, your body is strong enough to where as though um, it can really quiet your brain. You know, because sometimes when you don't have great endurance, your body is just not going to push back past your brain telling you to slow down. Yeah, you got to get to that second level in your mind to where as though even though like you're dead tired, you're still just moving and you're still moving while still being able to think. That might be more of a thing in boxing though, because somebody's throwing punches at you. But I mean, I could see that being in track too, because a lot of times when you're tired, your brain will just, you won't even consciously know, but your brain will just start telling you to slow down. But yeah, I would say keep doing that, you know, keep doing that, man. Hopefully you get the mile. Actually, not even hopefully. You're going to get the 5-minute mile, and you're going to get the 5-minute mile, and you are going to win state. Let's just put that in the air. That's how you got to do it. My goals are, my goals, and I have some lofty goals. My goals are to save $30,000. Save $30,000. My goal is to lose probably like 25 more pounds. Last year I lost about 40 pounds, but my goal is to lose 25 more pounds. I gotta get my diet back in check. But really, 30K, 25 pounds, and I want to be able to get like some sort of, maybe a certification for the tech industry, like maybe if you're familiar with like Linux or any of those things. But my goals, like I said, 25 pounds, 30K in the bank, and certification or starting school. Those are my goals for this year. Simple stuff, but just self-improvement. And also one of my goals is to keep live streaming at least 20 minutes every day. So this is day 2. Okay. You learn and work with robotics engineering. That's what's up. Yeah. So I am very interested in AI. I already work in the tech industry. I work for a tech company, like as my day job. But when you're in the industry like tech or like IT, all that type of stuff, it's never really a time where you can stop learning. The whole process of it is learning nonstop. So like, the stuff that you know today, it might not even be valuable information to you. 5 or 10 years down the road, you'll have to learn the new things that come in, because obviously that's how fast, especially now with AI, that's how fast all of this technology comes and goes. But yeah, I do like working in tech. It's a lot of cool little perks that you get, when you work at some of these companies. It's very comfortable. They make you very comfortable. I can't live stream from my job ever, but I can talk about it at least. And then I will say this, doing the IT thing, working in tech, yeah, it can be confusing. I wouldn't even say confusing, because a lot of times with me, I used to think like, especially with where I work, certain things you start doing them and you like, this is kind of hard. But a lot of times things aren't hard, they're just new. Once you get accustomed to certain things, you make the connections in your brain, it becomes easy once you get the repetition down. And there's a lot of things that, before I started working in the tech industry, I couldn't even really picture myself understanding, And now that I've done it so many times, I got like a better understanding. I know you watch, like, if you ever watch like The Matrix, or you watch like,
or any of those, movies where it's like a hacker of a computer and he's just sitting there and it's like all of this stuff on the screen and you're thinking like, how do you understand like what you're looking at on the screen when it's just like words all together and it's just a million lines of code or logs of, data that are just coming across the screen. Like, how do you understand that? And then you start like, you do it to the point where you're looking at this stuff every day to where as though you start understanding like how technology works. You get the basic understanding of how most technology works, and it's a beautiful thing. Obviously it's a skill and an understanding that you can take with you anywhere. But yeah, I used to, especially when I first started, I would see, we'd be sitting there and they're like, we got to look at the logs. And the logs come on the screen and it's like Neo at the beginning of the Matrix where it's just like all of this stuff is coming across the screen. And I'm like, and thinking to myself, like, yo, how am I going to ever understand this? And then, slowly but surely, I started understanding it. So shout out to everybody who just popped up. But yeah, we having a conversation about like tech and not even just tech, just like whatever you want to do with your life, especially if you're trying to start at something and you're at the beginning. It's not really, things usually aren't, well, things in the beginning appear like they're hard, but they're not necessarily hard. They're just new. Once things aren't new anymore, a lot of times things get a lot easier. So it's whatever y'all goals is starting off, it ain't hard, it's just new. So, and I try to carry that with me, And I also said, granted, I didn't record it because I didn't live stream it because I was like, yo, how the hell am I going to live stream and run it at the same time? But I'm trying to start running myself every day. You blood or cuz. I don't do none of that gang banging stuff. I'm a grown ass man. Nah, we ain't on that over here. We all about the positivity and staying out of jail and prison. We staying out of jail, prison. I ain't trying to go to nobody's jail. Yeah, people do ask some weird questions on here, but it's all good. I think, most of the time I just think people, obviously, they just trolling. Yeah. I remember coming up, we used to have like the youngins who swore that they was in gangs and all this stuff. That wasn't ever me. And this is a whole nother side piece because now somebody done brought it into the live. I'm finna talk about it. So another thing with me is, or not me, it's just growing up as a young teenager, you're in that, that 14, 15, 16, shout out to Faith, 14, 15, 16 age range. The peer pressure to do some dumb shit is just so high. Like, especially if you do like a young guy too, like you see the girls and they with them dudes who claiming they in the gang and you thinking that you gotta be like that to get the girl. And to a certain extent you might have to in high school, but that's like a short-term way of thinking. So short-term thinking to lead the long-term problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I wish that a lot more people would not be so not do negative things to impress other young people, and you don't even get anything from it. You don't you don't get any long-term value from it. Death or jail. The girl I like is in a homeschool Christian community. So yeah, I wish, I wish more people could be that way, Like I said, unfortunately, with me growing up, I had to deal with people in the neighborhood. My mom was definitely like very religious, and that definitely rubbed off on me. But still had to go out into the community and deal with the women. Boom! We made another 20 minutes. I would say so, yes. I would absolutely say that I'm a Christian, for sure. Definitely grew up Baptist. And like I said, maybe not like grew up in the homeschool Christian community because my mama wasn't about to homeschool me, but you know, okay, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think that you know a lot more people do need to be in touch with religion, and like I said, the kids, the teenagers, stop doing just like these things to just impress each other that don't actually provide any value in the long term. So I am about to log off because this is day 2. I'm gonna be back for day 3. Love y'all. Like, subscribe. We out.